My name is Heather, and my pronouns are she and her. I am a white female with short strawberry blonde hair. I am wearing red glasses, and I have on a navy blue t-shirt today. Behind me is a teal wall with a white line and dot pattern, and it is covered in pieces of art. This season on Connect the Dots, we are focused on how to bring all of you to work. And today's topic is about the importance of recognition in and outside of the workplace. So it's been a week since I got the email telling me that my role was eliminated, along with, 18,000 other Amazonians. And I will openly admit that I still burst into tears from time to time when I think about it, or like if I talk to somebody about it. I went to the eye doctor this morning and they were like, oh, well, are you going back to work after this? And I'm like, no, got laid off. Luckily I didn't cry there, but yeah, it's hard to say. It's like, I don't know what else to say. I don't want to lie, but I guess I could just say I had the day off. It doesn't matter. Anyways, but yes, I still openly admit that I burst into tears from time to time when I'm thinking about it. So I remember, though, reading a post from someone last year that said going through a layoff takes you through the 5 stages of grief, which are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And I know that I have been in and out of the anger, the bargaining, and the depression part since last week, right? I kind of navigate in between all of them. But all in all, I have been pretty accepting of it from the day that it happened. I mean, honestly, there's nothing I could do about it, but accept it. And, because it was, right? So when I got the email, I had that immediate sense of denial. Or when Sarah called me and she told me she got the email, I was like, no, that's not right. What's happening right now? And then I got the email and I'm like, boss, what in the world? What is this? This is not happening. This is not true. All the denial, happened, at that very first moment. But, the anger, the bargaining, the depression part, it definitely kind of going in and out of those, over the last week, and the acceptance part, right. From the day that I got the email, there wasn't anything I could do but accept it. And those other stages, when I think about anger and bargaining and depression, even the denial, right? All of those are valid. So if you've been going through this as well, or somebody that's going through this, these feelings are valid, and everybody will work through these at their own pace in their own time. I know I will more than likely continue to move back and forth through all of them for a while, because this is not something that just happens and goes away. It happened, and now it's moving through the next steps to that next part. So that next role, whatever that next step is for me. But one of the things that really has helped me to accept this and be able to look forward, into whatever's next, has really been the outpouring of love and support from colleagues, past and present, my friends and family, even people that I was only connected to on social media. I've never worked with them. We're literally just connected on LinkedIn or just connected on Facebook, maybe friend of a friend kind of thing. It has been so humbling and heartwarming to read the posts that people have put up, the comments that they've put up to my post, the recommendations people have put up for me on LinkedIn, the messages that they've sent me, right? The text messages that have popped up on my phone, even just the fact that I've had a couple of people hey, let's get together, right? People from all parts of my life. A friend that I worked with her at Verizon, right? Feels like a bazillion years ago, but we had worked together in partnership, and she worked for Verizon and I worked for a Verizon agent. And, she reached out to me and was like, hey, let's get together and talk. Like, so we had a great conversation yesterday. It's just those types of things those are the things that like have really like been, just helping me move forward. My LinkedIn feed is obviously, it's full of the hashtag open to work notices. But when I look at those, it's also full of people that are like sharing recommendations or stories of impact about that person, giving just the supportive reactions. Like, I am absolutely 100% supportive of all of those messages. They truly make my heart full, not only for myself, but for the other people that are going through this at the same time I am. And it is really like getting to see and getting those reach outs from people is just, it may seem so small, but it means so much. On Sunday, I was chatting with my massage therapist about the layoff and this outpouring of support from all around. And in the conversation, I realized that it's almost like getting to see what people would say about you, like after you pass away. And I know that's kind of a morbid thought, but stick with me for a second. The loss of a job is like a death, or if somebody leaves a role that they've been in for a long time, like it can feel like that. It can feel like this big loss, like a death. And the words people say about you after, right after you're gone, are often ones of recognition and appreciation. And this past week has been full of those for me. I honestly did not realize the impact that I've had on people. And again, I'm incredibly humbled by the support, by the words that have been said in recommendations and in post. And truly, like, it means so much to me. Yeah, like it really does leave me speechless a lot of times when I read through them and when I think about them. Like it really does. But it's also led me to ask, well, why didn't we share this in the moment? Why did we wait until the end to give these words of recognition, to give these recommendations, to share this information? Why do we wait? And this is a question not just for you, it's a question for me, because I also, something that I haven't been great at. So there's an article I found from Apollo Technical Engineer Talent Solutions. And they said that employee recognition is important because it boosts morale, it increases productivity, and builds positive relationships, right? Praising employees for their achievements reinforces quality performance, benefiting both the staff and the organization. Absolutely. Like, employee recognition is so important. And employee, this is not like manager to employee. This is manager to employee, peer to peer, employee to manager, participant to facilitator. All of that is kind of what's included here in employee recognition when I think about it. And as I've grown in my career, right, I have made a more conscious effort to really provide recognition and praise for the work I see from my employees, from my peers, from my leaders, or really anyone that I can. I think about this one time we were going through, it was right at the beginning of COVID, and we were having, I was in an area manager rotation, and we had these meetings where we looked at, I think it was COVID and peak, like there was like a bunch of stuff going on. And so we had like daily meetings where they would like run through like numbers and stuff. but it was like not just our org, it was all of our departments. So there was like 600 people on this call. And there was one particular leader that would lead this call on certain days. And this call is a very dry call. but they tried their best to make it fun and entertaining. Like their presentation that we went through, that was like their agenda presentation kind of thing to keep us on track. Like it had images and funny things. Like it was just, they tried to make this as good of a meeting as they could. And I remember I sent them a recognition. I was like, hey, I know you don't know me, but thank you for trying to make this meeting more engaging, because it is pretty dry, but you do such a good job at keeping people engaged. So like that's what I've really tried to make that conscious effort over the past several years. And I'm definitely not perfect at this by any means. I am not perfect. I go through kind of like, feast or famine times too with it. But it's really been an intention, right? I've set this goal to share recognition, whether it's big or small, with people in the moment. And many companies do make this really easy, where they'll have like an internal website where you can send like an e-card with a message, and it gets copied to the person's manager. I'm a really big fan of these types of systems because they do make it quick and easy to just add into your workflow. But it's also really easy to just send a quick email or a quick chat message maybe. The Apollo article also gives a few reasons on like why employee recognition is important. And in recognition, they said it improves the work environment. So think about it, right? So you're sharing recognition, right? It can boost morale. It can keep people engaged and just knowing kind of what's happening, like how their peers or their manager kind of feels. It kind of gives this like positive feel to the work environment. It increases productivity and profitability. So, if you're feeling good, if the culture's good, the work environment's good, you're going to feel, and you're getting good feedback on what you're doing. It's going to help you want to produce more. It's going to help you be more productive. And in the end, if you're more productive, that means, that can equal profitability. So the next one is, can build connections among team members. Well, if you're sharing things, sorry, I had an alarm going on my other screen. So the third one is, can build connections among team members. So if you've learned about how your team members receive feedback and recognition, and you're giving that to them, it helps you build those connections. It helps build that psychological safety piece among the team, right? It's a piece of that. It can strengthen the core values of your organization by, if one of the core values of your organization is, and we'll take one from Amazon, for example, a leadership principle of theirs is customer obsession. And so by recognizing employees and what they're doing for the customer, that can help strengthen the core values. And finally, helps reduce employee stress. Because if you've got that more positive work environment, that psychologically safe environment, people are being productive, there's connections, the core values are on display every day, then the stress level of your employees is going to lessen, because they are going to be focused on doing the good things, right? They're not going to be worried so much about, am I going to get negative feedback? Am I going to get in trouble? If I ask this question, am I going to be told no? They're not going to go into like that kind of stressful spiral. They're going to stay in that state of like, hey, I feel good about asking this question. I feel comfortable about this kind of path forward, or this outside of the box thing, or this innovative idea. It helps reduce that stress. One area though, when I think about, right, so this is inside the workplaces where we've talked about, right, is the employee recognition inside of your work environment. But one area I know that I have struggled with is recognizing individuals outside of work. And this goes for both recognizing those that I work with, but also people that I just associate with outside of my job. I think about like some of the great posts that I've read, articles that people write, videos that they make, all those things that like I see online and they've had an impact on me. But did I comment and let them know? Did I give it a thumbs up on YouTube? Did I give it a reaction on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram? Did I share it? Probably not. I probably just let it go without acknowledging it. Because we get comfortable just observing the world from our side of the keyboard, right? We forget that, hey, the content that's out there, somebody did that work. Somebody put time in to produce that post, the video, the podcast, the infographic, the newsletter, whatever it may be. Somebody put work into that. And so we need to make sure that we're recognizing them in the moment too. If you think about this, the same reasons that employee recognition are important apply in this scenario as well. It improves the environment, right? It boosts the morale of the person that's creating the content. It lifts their spirits by reading your words. And honestly, it generally makes the online world a more positive place. I think about the things that I see on LinkedIn, especially right now, is when I see somebody that has, they've put up an open for work thing and one of their colleagues has come by and maybe reshared it or liked it and put a comment on it to say, hey, this person is blah, 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 but like this person is great. They've done XYZ, right? That lifts my spirits because I'm like, look at that person, recognizing that person. That is amazing, right? The lift for the creator or the poster, right? That can energize them to be more productive. It can in turn then help them maybe be more profitable if they're selling or monetizing their content. So we're again, improving that environment with the recognition, the positive words, right? It's lifting that creator up, giving them the energy to be more productive, giving them that push, which can then lead them to be more profitable if maybe what they're doing is selling or monetizing something. I think my favorite thing, though, that recognition outside the workplace can do is that it builds connections among the community. I think that's the piece for me that I wish that I was like. I wish this is why I wish I was better at this outside of work, is because it really does build the connection among the community. I think about the times where I've been really engaged with some creators on Instagram and been able to, give them, they've put out something and I've commented on it or liked it and they've engaged back with me, right? It makes these connections among the community. Or even just hearing stories of people that like met in the comment section and became friends. There's a couple YouTubers that I follow that like that's how they met. They were in the comment section of another YouTuber and they were like, oh, hey, you think similar to me and you think similar to me. Hey, let's get together. And like they started doing stuff on YouTube together. So building those connections among the community is really key, especially in terms of like how we work today. So many of us work remotely, right? We sit in our homes and we do our work from our computer and we're not in a building, brick and mortar style, being able to kind of, okay, well, I'm going in the office, but I'm going to stop at the coffee cart and talk to the barista and like make that connection. And, oh, I see this person here every day. I'm going to talk to them while we wait on our coffee. How are you kids? All that kind of stuff. Like you're not building those connections. So when you're out in the world of, of things like LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, all of that, YouTube, that kind of stuff, and you're commenting and you're giving recognition, that's building connections among the community. Now the next one, right, it can strengthen your own personal core beliefs, because typically when you're searching out content, it is things that align with your values. And as somebody's putting out information about, that aligns with your values, and you're recognizing the work that others have done in that area, right? It strengthens that for you. It strengthens that for them. Again, building the community. And then the last one, right? Finally, giving recognition can lower stress. I think about the times that I have, written recommendations, or when I've written those, feedback and recognition things for people at work, right? It lifts me up, right? I'm focused on giving them praise and recognition for what they did, and it lifts my spirits, right? That positive mindset and sharing that with others, right? It impacts your mood. So my challenge for all of us is to make an effort to show recognition in and out of the workplace. Right? I want us to start today, right? So today, I want you to send a note or write a comment or add a recommendation on LinkedIn for someone that you work with and someone you don't. And obviously don't add a recommendation for somebody you've never interacted with. Like, I'm not saying do that, but like if you've seen an article that they've posted, comment on the article or share the article, do something to recognize them. But maybe it's putting in a recommendation for somebody that you do work with. Give recognition to these individuals. Make sure though that it's specific. You don't just want to be like, hey, good job. Well, why was it a good job? What did they do to make you say, oh, I need to tell them that they did a good job? What exactly was it? Like, hey, I loved this comment that you made, or I loved this line from the article, or this line from the video, or you know what? I'm just impressed with your graphic skills. Awesome job on the infographic. Like something like that, like the way that they visually display something, but be specific about what you're recognizing them for. All right. So in that respect, before I close out, I want to take a moment to recognize a few folks that have lifted me up over the past week. So first, I want to say thank you to Erica, my mentor. Just our friendship has just truly been it's just been a blessing for me in all parts of my life. And I am incredibly thankful that you are my mentor and now one of my best friends, and just thank you for everything. To some of my former leaders at Amazon who have reached out, Kristen, KB, Nikki, thank you so much. Some of my former Apple colleagues, Cinda, Stacy, Anastasia, Ted, Dixie, Shirley, Jamie, Justice, Sven, Kirsten, thank you so much. Just, some of you just simply sent me a text message with hearts and was like, hey, I'm thinking about you. And on Wednesday and Thursday last week. And just, it really did just thank you so much for that. It really did mean a lot. To some of the other folks from Amazon that have reached out, who have put stuff on LinkedIn, Andy, Christian, Victoria, Derek, Frazine. Gosh, there's too many of you to name. I know I'm going to miss somebody, so I apologize. But if you reached out to me, if you commented, if you shared, and thank you. If you've connected with me on LinkedIn, even just thank you so much for that support. Also, thank you to Amy, to Lori, and to Tim for just being there, offering up time to talk, drinks to drink, and just more and more, just being there. And thank you to Sarah, Liz, and Glaister, who, despite going through this exact same thing, have continued to lift my spirits through funny memes, supportive posts, and text messages, and just being a safe place to just be. Again, I know I missed a lot of people here, because honestly, there's been more than I expected. So again, if you wrote on a post for me, if you wrote me a recommendation, if you reached out, if you reposted, if you shared, whatever, thank you. the recognition that you have shown me, it reminds me to keep my head up because I have so much to offer this world. It has helped me, kind of separate myself from the fact that, hey, I wasn't laid off because I wasn't doing a good job. I was laid off because that was the decision that they made for whatever reason. That was the luck of the draw there. But your recognition, the things that you have said about my work and the impact that it's had on you has truly made me kind of just be able to stay in a more positive mindset, and know that I have so much to offer and I will continue to make an impact wherever I go next. So that's going to do it today for the podcast. Thank you so much for being here. And so speaking of recognition, if you liked today's episode, I'd love for you to show me some recognition. Right. Could you give me a 5-star review? Could you share it? Could subscribe, follow, like, whatever platform you're listening or watching this on, you know what to do. I'd also love for you to come connect or follow me on Instagram and LinkedIn. All of the links and such are in the show notes for you. Until next time, please remember that you are loved and you are worthy, and there are great things ahead for you in this life if you trust and believe in the Lord. I'll see you next time.